Okay, so a warm welcome to all. I hope I am audible to all. Welcome all the participants, whoever present here via YouTube Live and Facebook Live as well. So today we have gathered here for this exclusive session on impact on sustainability during the COVID-19, a review in global context. And for presenting this, we have with us today's expert, Dr. Helima Began. She's a PhD and she's an assistant professor, School of Economics, Finance and Banking, that is SEFB, Universita Atara, Malaysia. And so without wasting further time, let me welcome Dr. Halima Begum, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, moderator. Thank you, host. Thank you, Research Circle. So today I would like to present. I would like to already host, moderator actually introduce myself. I also want to introduce myself. This is Dr. Halima Bega. So I am serving at Department of Finance under the School of Economics, Finance and Banking at University Utara Malaysia. So it is also known as Northern University Malaysia. So this is one of the public university and ASSB affiliated and AMBA affiliated. So I'm one of the associated editor of the International Journal of Climate Change Strategies and Management, publishes Emerald, and this is one of the high impact factor journal. And I'm also the associate guest editor of the Frontiers in Environmental Science under the Frontiers and Categories of Economics and Management. And I'm the guest editor as well, the Frontiers in Sustainability for them. Okay, so my topic is the equitable palm oil and sustainable assessment. And I'm also in editorial in research and innovation initiative. Okay, so editorial in Frontiers in Psychology as well. So this is my what it says. You can, if you want to connect me, so here is all of the links here. So I am one of the expert of my main function is I am one of the expert of UUM. Okay, I'm serving as an assistant professor. Okay, today I would like to present about the exclusive webinar one on impact on sustainability during COVID-19, a review in global context. So that means, so for this exclusive webinar on, so I would like to thank Research Cycle, okay, to prepare this, okay, and I would like to thank my audiences here, maybe the students, maybe the colleagues, all of the friends. I want to say the welcome, okay, for our presentation. So we have the mainly presentations for the we are actually known about the this recent malady, okay, in COVID-19. So first it has come as coronavirus, then in 2020 it has known as COVID-19. So in the COVID-19 pandemic, COVID-19, so still we could say the variants ongoing, Omicron now. Okay, so that means we have the effect on our sustainability, on our sustainable developments. So that's why UN also come to the SDG goals for the COVID-19. Okay, so my research ongoing about the sustainability, my expertise actually mainly on the sustainability, techno finance, okay, Islamic finance, etc. Okay, so here I just will discuss about the global context. In the global context, what is the impact mainly on our sustainable environment, our sustainable economy, our sustainable socio-economy? What is the impact and what are the policies and strategies due to these types of impact? Okay, so if we our you see here the chapter outline, I just what I call I just arrange here in the for the presentations, okay, for the audiences. Introduction, literature review, methodology, discussions, conclusions, and implications of the studies. So this is the main importance, our implications of the study. At the last, we do have the question and answering session. So after the presentations, upon the completions of the presentations, you can ask your So you have the mail, you have the queries, you can ask the questions as well. Okay, so let's start. Okay, in Malaysia is now is actually afternoon, so we can say that good afternoon. India maybe now is our morning time, so good morning all of you. So first I would like to say some things about the coronavirus. Okay, how it came to known as the COVID-19. Okay, COVID-19 pandemic recent malady. So what is corona? Okay, we can say that coronavirus, okay, we can see here coronavirus are the single standard renal infections which affect both actually animals as well as humans. Okay, so these coronavirus have the four subfamilies, actually four, and that is actually contaminated. So you already knew that from the media, from the journal, and from the sufferings, from your experiences. So it is cause major diseases, contamination, and ultimately death. Okay, eventually for the future also, it effects on our lung. Okay, when it has been emerged actually. So in 2019 December, in Wuhan city from the seafood markets, Wuhan city, China, from the seafood markets. So afterwards, it has been started since January actually 2020. Then WHO, I means World Health Organization actually came to the name as, okay, COVID-19 pandemic. So you see, at the first time in 2000, especially on the March, okay, March 2020. So it has been declared COVID-19 pandemic. So since January, they have seen that, they have observed that World Health Organization of the almost 200 countries affected with their regions. And on the time infecting around 6309107 people and killing over 376,445. Okay, it is a huge. So we can say that afterwards, again they have actually calculated in recent, we can say that 213 countries involved in recent pandemics with 238,000, 79,452 illnesses and 4,859,207 deaths. So it's not a small. So that means due to that, it has the impact in the worldwide. It has impact in the global. So we can say that this is the experience might be viewed as having important worldwide ramifications for the nature worlds. So this has adverse effect. So if we see that, so that means this had adverse effect on our global sustainability. So that's why actually this study I set out to identify the critical gaps of the global sustainability. And I want to suggest some of the policies which could be implemented. Okay, so let's go. What is the impact on global sustainability? So we can say that COVID-19 pandemic has, if we segregate it in the what is the impact on environmental sustainability in global concept, and so impact on economic sustainability in global concept, impact of socio-economy or impact on sustainable business. Actually, what is the impact? Okay, impact on global sustainability. We can say that. So if we see the situations, we can say that people are in. It is resulted in millions of affected people, complicated morbidities, and cost in the billions of dollars. Obviously, so unlike the sickness also and the outcomes, COVID-19 outbreak is doing what? Is likely to continue well into the future as the vaccine has been discovered, like for the other infections, ailments, but the infection rate is yet to worsen worldwide and create unsustainability in the environment, economy, and social well-being. Okay, this is also the recent impact actually. So some of the recent researcher, I also published 3 articles, 1 article published and 2 accepted. So it has the impact on the sustainability. Let's see how we fulfill these critical gaps, these research gaps. So first I would like to start with the introductions. Okay, so of this webinar. So we came to know that within the short times, okay, there is an extraordinary calamity, okay, disasters due to COVID-19, okay, due to heat of the COVID-19. So we will see that how actually our adversely affecting our poor and vulnerable peoples. Okay, so also we see the one by one slide, we see the what is the what are the worldwide ecological consequences. Okay, so due to our COVID-19. So here in at a glance we can say that what is that, what are the impacts. Okay, so here we can say that what are the impacts here. First is if we say that the COVID-19 environment, if we say that, if we see that one. So due to COVID-19, actually, we are using the mask. Okay, so we are using the mask, gloves, etc. like that. So there is a due to that uses, so our biomedical wastages increases. That means our it is impact especially LDC and developing countries. I can say that especially India, Bangladesh, so Nigeria, these types of country actually they are involving on the biomedical waste. So that means that biomedical waste is affecting on the environment sustainability, negatively affect on the environment sustainability. So our, if we consider, so we also have the positive consequences, okay, due to pandemic COVID-19. So for if we see the our education department, so we have to consider our education department also is highly affected, especially in the LDC countries or some of the developing countries as well. So they do not have what, so developed countries may not be affected much, okay, in the education department especially. So our, so through online class it was still continuing actually. So suppose I am taking class via webex, okay, via webex, Zoom, like that. Okay, so we have internal portal. So for that, so this Malaysia is a developing country, that's why maybe, but some of the countries actually they do not have the educational policy, students doesn't have the internet connections. So that means sustainable education is also impacted on that time. That one is affected. So another one, if we see that our travel, aviation industry, our tourism industry, due to lockdown, due to social distancing, we can say that we'll later on see the data as well. So still have the restrictions for the aviation industry, for the travelers. So our have huge affected. That means our, from that actually every countries have the contribution to the GDP, such as, okay, such as in Malaysia we can say that tourism is the third, okay, third earning sources, so which effect on the GDP. Okay, so affected travel, hotel, aviation, tourism industry and the manufacturing industry as well. Okay, industry also affected due to shutdown policies, due to isolation policies. Okay, so due to lockdown policies. Another one is, okay, so is there any problem, please, dear host?
Yes, ma'am.
So you can hear, is it?
Yes, perfectly
Okay,
audible.
okay. Okay, so another one is what you see here, employment rate. So in the private sector especially, so in the private sector, so loss of actually is a third 40 to 60 million people according to US data. In the private sector, they have lost jobs, so people are vulnerable, and due to that socio-economy also affected, suicidal rate increases, and our supply chain also is stressed due to high demand of the food. So now that time we saw that there is a due to high demand of the food, but our unavailable raw materials, so from the agriculture productions, if we see that still decline the oil prices in organization petroleum exporting countries. Okay, so still have the oil prices is now still is a break-even point. So they are trying to increase the rate of the oil. Some of the countries is helping. Okay, but with the with the exchange rate policies and with the whatever called the with the stock rate policies, stocks, all of the policies, is still the oil prices declined. Okay, so especially Gulf countries, okay, other those who are the importing or exporting, all are affected. So that means our decline oil prices in the organizations and petroleum countries. You see here, whatever is included here about the affected travel, hotel and aviations. So this is the recent data. So April 22, 2021. Okay. So source is our world in data. Okay, our world in data.org. So you see here, still they have the until April, they have the strict, some of the countries still have the travelers restriction policies. Okay, so United States is high still. So Saint March to till France, United Kingdom, Germany. So that means how our aviation industry affected our Canada, India as well, Nigeria, China. Okay, this data shows until 22 April 2021. So due to Omicron also again they go to the restricted policies. Okay, so we can say that by early 2020, a number of countries has begun to introduce nationwide lockdowns, including Italy, which was hard hit by the virus, and Saudi Arabia as well. China as well had taken a step to restrict sections of its country, particularly the Hubei province, where the virus is thought to have originated. You see here, due to this restricted policy, international students, our international students cannot come. So cannot do their research, cannot do that. So some of the undergraduate students can do the class, who do the class via online. But for those who are doing research in the lab, or those who are especially involved in the research, because they have to see time to time with the supervisors, they have to meet. So international students also highly affected. Okay, their scholarship has been closed as well, but they have to pay. If they want to continue their studentship, they have to pay their tuition fee as well. So by this restriction policy, you see still, so it has been reported that travel restriction plays a significant role in controlling the initial spread of COVID-19, though this one. So, but there are huge impacts. Okay, eventually, in the case during the case, there's a suicidal rate increased. So, in case of pilot. Okay, so in Malaysia, some of the two pilot actually they committed suicide due to their, so maybe they do not have the fund, they do not have the, and they were having the socio-economic problems, economic problems, personal economic problems. Okay, so due to that, so there are a lot of impact. Okay, let's segregate one by one. So impact, so our environment actually has effect on our economy and socio-economy. So what is the positive and negative impacts on our environment sustainability? You see here and there you can see the mask, especially our subcontinent country, you can see here and there. So this one actually biomedical waste, eventually medicine as well. So what are the positive and negative impacts? So let's see what is the negative impacts here. A negative consequence from the use of masks. So cleaning products such as sanitizer and gloves made from the materials, which not only increase this one increases the sustainable production. Suppose GM Motors, so they go to the alternative financing, such as they went for what I call produce the cylinders, oxygen cylinders, mask. Okay, so they have, so the company actually they recover their loss. So in that case, our sustainable production of a particular country has been increased, but not for all, but maximum reduce the environment sustainability due to our biomedical waste. You see some of the recent data. So Rahman et al. 2021 I saw, and another one from the India. So these two actually I noticed that such as country like India, Bangladesh, which are already struggling with adequate waste management in health, have had their problems further compounded by the sudden influx of COVID-19 cases due to biomedical waste. Okay, so this has the negative impacts as well on the environments. So positive impacts also have. What's that? So due to aviation industries, okay, close the restriction policy, close the lockdown, still international tourists cannot come. Okay, so lockdown policies, all of things, how we can say that our aviation industries. So reduce the greenhouse gas emission and reduce the noise pollutions. So that means our environment air quality and noise quality has been improved. So if we see the other things also, okay, so if we see that here say that enhance the air quality, how? So by this enhance the air quality, even though for the energy modifications previously was world is having global crisis, there is a so because of the poor air quality, poor water quality, poor noise quality. So but during COVID-19 has significantly impact on the environment sustainability through reduced material consumptions for energy modification, resilience, and ultimately it enhance our air quality. Another one is what? But if we consider about the household environments, so we have so many families. Suppose some of the family members have 5 6 siblings, their parents, their grandparents. Okay, so that time our consumption, water consumption, energy consumption has been increased in households. So why? Actually due to the closing of the school, colleges, offices, restaurants, etc. So that one actually increases our household consumptions plus what? Plus our household environment as unsustainability increased. Another one is our SME. Okay, our some of the SME actually. So small and medium enterprise, they have been affected. They affected. So because one of the example I can put here. So how actually affected, but environment sustainability increased. Okay, sorry. In developing nations such as Nigeria, when electricity supply remains a challenge, many businesses are forced to run on alternative sources, including generators, okay, which make use of diesel, petrol, and other related products. With business shutdown, these alternative power sources were used less frequently, ultimately contributing to the lower emission witnessed during peak lockdown periods of the pandemic. But also due to shutdown, this SME, this SME or some of them or whatever I call, especially SME, so they have affected. Okay, so and unemployment rate increased due to that, due to shutdown policies. Other facilities, because we can consider, if we consider manufacturing industries, previously manufacturing industry, okay, was one of the responsible for the water pollutions and air pollutions to by increasing the greenhouse gas emission and noise pollutions. Okay, so and several types of diseases also increase on that times. So but during COVID-19 it has been reduced, okay, due to shutdown and lockdown policies. Other facilities such as warehouse and even factories responsible for the productions of the goods produced less during the lockdown period, not only because of the closures of the business, but moreover due to the drop in demand for certain products. So what happened? As a result, our additional sources of the pollution also reduced. okay, leading to a positive net effect on our environment quality and air quality by increasing, okay, by reducing air quality and greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, let's see. Okay, these data, okay, uh, also see our how our NO2 nitrogen emissions data acquisitions by the European, okay, using Sentinel 5P across different, so just for the 5 in the financial times, sources of financial time, just for the, so they just measured, okay, so initial data, they put initial data and they put final data for March 2001, March 2002. So reduction up to 30%. So for the Italy, up to 30%. For the France, up to 30%. Spain, up to 30%. UK, up to 36%. We can see that how reduce actually. Now come to the point we say there is a factor sustainability. So still we can see the variants of Omicron. Before was the Delta. So you see that during the Delta, so many people actually there was a death toll rate was high on the times in every countries. Okay, so we could see that, we could observe that one through our media. Okay, so that means now Omicron is also here. We do not know in the further what type of variants will be emerge, okay, in the world. So that means our scientists actually should continue the research. If you see here, during this time, January to November, so you see here, so that means Delta to Omicron, second phase to third phase. Just if you see the data of this, okay, so you see here how affected the Switzerland, which are unvaccinated. So that means vaccine, vaccine brought us luck, brought us actually good news for us. So I just actually differentiate here the vaccinated status and unvaccinated status. So through this actually we can go for the research. Okay, we can continue our research. You see, unvaccinated people has been increased how? Number 27 202 21. Okay, so because Switzerland only 64% among the population, 64% actually they are vaccinated, and rest still didn't vaccinated. So these vaccinated people actually less affected. So that means scientists also continue their research. Still vaccinated people also the affected. Okay, rather than unvaccinated people is less, the rate is less, but still vaccinated people is affected. So that means we have to continue our research. So this is for the England. If you see here, unvaccinated, okay, fully vaccinated. So this is static here. See, this is the data for the, they didn't update after the September 24, 2021. Okay, so that means we have to continue our research for the sustainable development, to increase the sustainable environment, to increase the sustainable economy, to increase our sustainable, or to maintain our sustainable socio-economy. So we came to know that sustainable is the combination of the environment, economic, social, governance, policies, etc. Okay, so today what is the methodology here? So how I just present this one. So a researcher cannot present actually just whatever she wants, she cannot present. So she or he has to cite the previous references. So according to the bibliometric meta-analysis, okay, so you see there are almost 6,000 references. Okay, so and 8,000 references in Sign Direct. 6,000 references actually, this is in Scopus database. 8,000 references in the Sign Direct about the studies of the COVID-19. Okay, so the main focus of this study was to summarize how the COVID-19 pandemic affects the environment and what the total impacts in the global and environment, and the methodology look at the potential scenarios of the present pandemic attempts to characterize the level of the evidence so the readers can engage in rigorous and critical thinking. So here should be the main focus of the study was to summarize how the COVID-19 pandemic affects the environment, economy, and socials. I mean, affects our sustainability. Okay, so let's see our discussion. From the discussion, what things I got from the meta-analysis. So if I segregate it point by point, so first point I segregated it. COVID-19 exacerbates the global health and alters the environment globally. So same things come out also, the meta-analysis. So especially you can see that I included about the biomedical waste. Due to that, not only have the effect on the environment, but also effect on in the several parts, effect on our health as well. You see here, COVID-19 is a highly infectious virus that can be spread by person-to-person contact and large crowd meetings. Fever, cough, tiredness, and breathing trouble are all indicators of a serious respiratory disease. Okay, so it is harming on our several organs. Okay, so recent observations show that there are fewer people, especially cleaners, city workers, and community workers, who are aware of the danger of the diseases and proper disposal of the protective materials such as masks and hand gloves, which created waste in the environments. Okay, so how this is also creating what? The use of biomedical materials such as masks, gloves, sanitizer creates the demand, and how biomedical products affect the environment caused by improper use of the materials. These critical events have exacerbated the new materials such as new maladies or new diseases such as our hepatitis, meningitis with the recent COVID-19 pandemic. You see, due to biomedical waste. Eventually, if your mask is uncleaned, okay, so if you do not clean mask, so that one actually affect on your eyes as well. Okay, so that means that one so there is a case in India and Bangladesh, some of them actually some of them completely go to the blind. Okay, so completely they are blind due to that. Okay, what I call, so they are not cleaning the mask, repeatedly using same mask. So these types of things. So these types of things, even though they are throwing in the what I call see. Okay, so throwing in the dump, so that one also negatively effect on the environment and on the sea animals. Okay, so you see here, okay, the COVID-19 outbreak. So this is the total. So how it affects. So from that actually I draw a figure. You see here, people how actually threatening the nature. So create the environmental unsustainability and how their health is affecting the humans as well as actually sea animals. You see here, protecting equipment rating for natures. So how they throw their wastes in the sea, okay, in the dump. Okay, so there is a we can say that there is a affected environment and human body also affected for that. Okay, so another one is our structural alteration between COVID-19 and the global environments. So we already, my findings also get same things, the positive things also got. The ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, there are positive structural effects and alterations of the environment with remarkable changes in climate, resilience, and energy consumptions. The COVID-19 pandemic has shown different consequences on human civilization, has had a significant beneficial influence on the global environments. The use of fossil fuels or conventional energy sources has been drastically reduced. As a result, the emission from the CO2 and ozone layer are balanced in some extent in the global, in the worldwide. Okay, so another one is how actually build the clean environment. So I draw a figure. So came to the positive outcomes and negative outcomes, total outcomes. Okay, COVID-19 influenced to build a green and clean environments. How? If we say that the COVID-19, some of the examples actually I put there, the COVID-19 has focused on the indirect positive and negative effects on the environment, such as air pollution levels in New York have decreased by over 50% compared to last year. So nitrogen dioxide, already we saw how decreased, actually reduced. Emissions in Europe decreased over northern Italy, UK, and Spain. So now, what is the positive impacts? We see that COVID-19 affected since 2019. So, infected our body. Okay, so later on, our World Authority, so WHO and John Hopkins University, okay, so gave the policies as well, and our government came with the policies. What? Stay home policies. So stay home policies, industry should be shut down. There is a MCO, CMCO, conditional MCO. There is a lockdown. School, college, restaurants, all of things lockdown. So travel ban restrictions, tourism, international tourism. So travel ban restricted. So there are no thinking about the tourism. Okay. So okay, recycling or scoring our sorting our waste. So what are the positive outcomes after that? I saw that there is a negative and positive outcomes. First one is, okay, deforestation also increased, okay, in the rural area, and increase the waste and littering the medical equipment and increase the medical waste. Okay, what is the positive outcomes? There is a clean beaches and tourist spot. There's a clean beaches and in the tourist spots, clean beaches and the clean are the tourist spots. So we already knew that how reduce the air and noise pollutions. Okay, our CO2, NO2, SO2 emissions also reduced. And most important, our wildlife also, they didn't interrupt it. They didn't got interruptions on that terms. Wildlife uninterrupted. Okay, so this is come with the Maya discussions from the meta-analysis. Okay, so you see here is the Italy, Rome. There is a example. Before COVID-19 with the tourist, and after COVID-19 we can see the pigeon there only. Okay, so very nice, clean, everything's after COVID-19. So that means there is a huge impact on the environments. So this is actually for April 2018, and this is for February 28, 2020. Okay, in Italy, in Milan, Italy. Okay. So many environmental scientists have long advocated for a decarbonized, carbonized sustainable economy when the pandemic fades and carbon and pollution emission return. It will be as if the clear sky period never existed. So for in case of, we see that in Venice, Italy, but the pandemic has reduced the number of the tourists. So because this is a very tourist attracted area. So where the pandemic has reduced the number of tourists, allowed the waterways in Venice canals to improve. As people are now constantly living in their homes and working remotely, the energy consumption patterns are changing. Okay, so this is influence to build a green and clean environments. How influenced? Okay, our residential energy uses is predicted to grow as more people work from home. So we saw there is a negative household impact actually. Here from my discussion, what is that? This epidemic will save energy and may have an influence on reducing the use of polluting fuels in power plants. Okay, preventive tactics such as forestation and proper maintenance of wildlife habitats are being overlooked. So our residential energy actually increased, but government, but government, I don't know in all of the country cases, but most of the developing and developed countries, they did what, they gave the subsidy. Okay, they gave the subsidy to use the waters, to use the especially water and and our what I call, so you have to pay some of the subsidy they gave if your power is not more than that, so you do not need to pay your bill. Okay, for the power, for the energy, for the water bills. Okay, so I saw in, if I consider Malaysian case, Malaysia actually did this one, followed this one, almost follows 1.5 years they have followed this one, these policies. Okay, now come to the point of the how our socio-economic sustainable economy affected. So large socio-economic groups, especially poorer communities in rural and urban areas, daily wage earners, and low-income groups are affected more. So we already see there is a high unemployment rate. So due to low levels of hygiene and less education during the recent meltdown. First one is overpopulation and family size in urban areas. Overpopulation is directly responsible for degrading the environment in urban rather than rural areas. Okay, so and COVID-19 is one of the infectious diseases that spreads from human to human. So that means our socio-economy affecting through the COVID-19, because this is a contagious. Hence, globalization causes a population shift from rural to urban, and urbanization is responsible for the social consequences of the infection diseases. So this is the, so that means our urban people infected much. How socioeconomy, because of the overpopulation and the family size. Does social distancing and self-isolation affect the socioeconomy? Of course. There is a huge, large negative effect among lower middle, and lower income groups. Because working at home may reduce interaction among people, but it is only available to certain people who are focused on jobs and connected to the stronger educational, social, and economic status. Poor people actually they do not work. Okay, through the online. Okay, so that's why. So our infected people rate has been, so due to that, okay, due to unemployment, some of that, due to the hunger, also there is a suicidal deaths in subcontinents. Okay, in Nigeria, okay, in South Africa, we can say that. Okay, so Zimbabwe. So observed suicidal death due to uncertainty and high stress among the unemployed. Yet undeniably, some people are not maintaining the social distancing rules. Really, some people, some countries people actually, they are not maintaining the social distancing rules due to their what? Due to their hunger, due to the vulnerable situations. So that means our SM is affected much. Daily wage earners, employers of the tourism companies, restaurants, with them also actually, so lost of the, some of my friends actually, those who are working at the tourism, aviation and restaurants, they also lost their jobs. Any small shops. Okay, so private company actually especially terminated by their employment. Okay, so have terminated their employees, especially in the lower development countries and developed countries during the lockdown in 2020. So that means the total actually recent data of the US is 40.7% unemployment rate. Okay, some still actually couldn't back their job yet. Okay, they're searching their job as well. Okay, due to lockdown and limited work option, the market of the agriculture, oil and petroleum, tourism, manufacturing, IT, media, research and development, food and education sectors, financial aviation and the healthcare and pharmaceutical industry are highly affected. And often as the world's economy is in turmoil. Okay. So, for example, for instance, I can say that the British Plastic Federation surveyed UK manufacturers to ask how COVID-19 impacts their business operations. So 98% actually of the respondents anticipate serious negative impacts, and 80% mention a decline in their business operation over the next 2 quarters. You know, it's still in UK, USA, so especially those have the international foreigners shop, still they have been closed that one. They are suffering. Okay, they are suffering in that countries, especially Okay, resident people. Okay, so meanwhile, China, Italy, and the hemisphere are struggling to recover from the pandemic yet. Restrict foreign travelers from frequently beaches. European and North American nations have not yet reached the peak of the epidemiological curve. But Italy showed the country's present GDP is 2.02 USD trillion from USD 2.9 trillion. We see that types of data as well. So that means our sustainable economy also affected. So when I actually published this one, so that times I mentioned that the study mentioned that the second wave will be more devastating than the first in comparison to other epidemics in history. From the previous all of the evidences from the meta-analysis, actually it has been proved. So here you can see the data for the export data. So IMF, source IMF 2004 country actually for the Asia, for the Europe, for the South and Central Americas, North America. So other areas as well. So they say the chronological development, enthusiastic development, unenthusiastic development. Here you can see that. Okay, so this is just they anticipated. So during, if we consider first North America, okay, so first North America, if we consider you this, so this one actually minus 3.62. But in the, so if we compare in 2002, this is anticipated projected actually last time in 2020. So we can see here, so world data, actually IMF data. IMF projections estimation for the exports in Asia will be increased. See, in continents of Asia will be increased, but there is a poor condition in the South and Central America. Okay, you see South and Central America, the export will not be increased according to their projections, according to their estimations in 2021. In 2002 is all of the collapse, but whatever I see the Asia in 2020 actually it was good for if we consider enthusiastic development. Okay, so for the chronological here also anticipated that there will be enthusiastic development in Asia, and enthusiastic in this case also 36.1% actually in Asia. So we have the we are living in this continent, so we have the scope to increase the exports. Okay, so but if we consider in 2020 data, so we can see that actually there is a very lower position, minus. Okay, there is a lower positions. Okay, minus 36.2 in 2020. Okay, and let's consider the imports, world's imports actually. Foreign exchange volume import in 2018 to 2021. As usual, 2020 you see here, okay, North America 33.8, okay, so South and Central America 43.8%. Okay, so here is it's not showing here. Okay, so this is for what Asia minus 31.5, so comparatively better. Okay, here you can see that imports, okay, in North America will be increased, the import will be increased. So Asia is the second, 25.1%. Okay, so in 2000 the condition was poor actually. Okay, for the GDP, real GDP for all of the country, obviously there is a poor conditions for the GDP. Okay, in for all of the countries. So high was in actually South and Central America, and for the 2000, though our export will be increased. Okay, so that's why they say that in Asia actually our GDP rate will be high overall Asia. Okay, this is the step projection. So how do you see here sustainable economy already affected due to minus GDP rate. Okay, so here is we can say that for the what I call what actually why it was happened. So we can say that for the stay home policy, for the shutdown policy, for the social distancing policies. Okay, Some of the actually company, so they have on that time actually they come out with the new policies. Okay, so they are especially SME actually still couldn't come out with the new policies. So we can say that policies are the stay-at-home policy and social distancing policy, so have significantly destroyed the earnings of the restaurants, bars, stores, and hotels, as well as manufacturing industries. From all of that, this is the actually for the findings, my findings for the sustainable economy. As well as the manufacturing industry in many locations, leading to their closure in some cases. Some industry actually during lockdown also, maybe only the 1 quarter they have been closed, but after 1 quarter actually they have started their manufacturing operations, because those who are especially government linkage and MNCs, their manufacturing is actually situated in the remote areas, so that's why they started their operations. But for the SME actually it was still tough. Okay, it has devastated many enterprises in the service, manufacturing, food, and financial industries in unexpected ways, and many governments have refused to accept responsibility for the failure of the small and major firms that closed because of the government's social distancing policy and lockdown limitations. So we can say that the government actually so disagreed on that. Okay, so we already what we can discuss about the sustainable economy, sustainable environment, sustainable social economy. So we came out with that. Still we need the sustainable development policies. Still we need the sustainable development strategies policies. So from here we can say that we have to come out with the sustainable production strategies for the whatever call for the industries, and for the social distancing policy we have to actually continuous, we have to come out with the monitoring. Okay, so come out with the monitoring, because some countries people actually are not following the rules. Okay, and we have to create the awareness. Okay, if we want to survive we have to create the awareness, we have to create the educations. Okay, so how we have to survive in the world. So maybe new melodies come, other melodies can come, so we have to always, we have to actually come out with the policies for the sustainable, for increasing the global sustainability. So in the conclusion I just included here, the lockdown and social distancing restrictions during the pandemic have brought about positive impacts on the environment. So that means there is a positive impact. So always so experts are, global climate change experts are saying that so there's a pollutions, so global climate change and health is affecting. So but this lockdown and social distancing, so we can maintain still the social distancing policies actually, so to come out with the list whatever called word of climate change. The study also discovered that social confinement has a win-loss relationship with both health and economics as well as livelihood implications. Mankind must recognize the limits to which nature can be plunked before it is too late. The transmission path must be cut off and the disease must become actively controlled. Okay. So whatever I want to suggest that after that. So I am going with the in a short actually. So we can actually the policy actually, so in that study actually sustainable production also included. Okay, sustainable supply chains, whatever we can do that. The study suggested to for come out with the, we can see environment is okay, we can follow that strategy. So for the sustainable economy what we can do, otherwise we can be, world will face the disaster calamity due to unsustainable economy. So the study suggested to interlink the consumption of the medicine and sustainable production to repeal the infection rate of COVID-19 in order to build resilience. It is also emphasized to the implementation of a broader controllable strategy. Anticipatory measures can emerge from rethinking about the sustainable productions. Okay, so we can think here about how to invest in the technology, how to go for industrial revolutions. IR5, how to invest the technology to reduce, to come out with the policy if we face in the further. Okay, so we have to, that means our scientist, our engineer, okay, we have to invest, we have to invest on our blockchain technology, our technology, okay, to introduce. And this solution actually will be, however, necessary the assurance of a flexible. Eventually, we have to come out with the frameworks, such as one of the example is life cycle assessments in the manufacturing industry. So this type of actually frameworks we have to come for if what? So by how? By more flexible approach and the with the more research. So therefore, the study also suggested the current options of sustainable production must be measured and require further research. Okay, so here you can read more and more, whatever. So we say 8,000 references from the Science Direct database, 6,000 references from the Scopus database. So we can read more and more. So one of the recent publications, my here this one, you can read this one. So this one is published in the High Impact Factor journal. Okay, so I read also one of the recent study from University Aberdeen in Scotland. So how they made the significant contributions to the understanding of a pandemic, disasters and environment challenges. So we can refer that study actually. So that author actually proposes for boosting sustainable production and consumption, developing new regulations for human growth rates. So he come out with the primary data actually, and prohibiting the trade in animals accompanied by the environments. So actually this is that today is this is my total presentation for today. Okay, so now I would like to open for your question and answering sessions. Thank you very much. Thank you all, and thank you audiences. Thank you research cycle
Dr.
for giving the opportunity.
Thank you so much, ma'am. If anyone has any question, you can unmute yourself and ask. Let me tell you all the participants that this whole session will be available on our Research Circle YouTube channel. So if you want to watch it again, you can just go to there and you can watch it. We'll put the contact details of Dr. Halima there. So if you have any doubts further, or if you want to connect with Dr. Halima, you can just connect on their social media.
So here is email. You can see dr.halima.begum@umdot.edu or halima.shilpi@gmail.com, or my I put my ResearchGate link as well. Okay, so you can through contact through ResearchGate. So what I call LinkedIn. So nowadays people have LinkedIn is very popular. So you can email or you can connect through the media. Okay.
So thank you so much all the participants for joining today's webinar. And thank you so much Dr. Halima Begum ma'am for taking out the time. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Have a good time.
Thank you. You are welcome, Research Cycle. I saw some of my students also actually attended the conference, attended this webinar.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you very much. So you would like to end this, is it?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
See
Yes,
you next time. Have a good day, everyone.